Test 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Lord said, confession good for the soul. Decisions that I made without the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made without the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call to be known with that on the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity like the lies lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord to kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cooked up with weaponry. Say ones claim they love you. I had no life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bro, even though we did the wrong thing. My life would have been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas, not knowing that them handcuffs custom made. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. I was in danger. Decisions that I made without the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made without the Lord's anger. But I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design. Cause when you in the streets, you get more. They don't tell you won't be on no restrictions. The father said a hard head to make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In the place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court, found in DC school. I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world, that's alright. All it was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made without the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made without the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I.S.U.P.K until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. Until they all understand, if I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone that make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But 12 was locked up in the judge put man on the shelf. Every cry cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit, then Nobody sell you drugs without me saying it. My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so taxed I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to bring the bad blues for this baton smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Feel like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good break. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling it cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword, with a style that they might just record. The only thing equal is the curse for the wicked and the righteous reward. Have mercy on the many, don't see it separated from the tares. Now on my prayers and it's so big. A rebel, take the word by word of mouth. UPK, we the rebels that you heard about. Yeah. And it ain't gonna stop till 100 virgins in the house and I'm handing verdicts out. Yeah, Frank, you ain't heard a count without a shadow of a doubt. These devils hitting licks off us. Fuck the bank, I'm about to soul the clock and kick it open. Can't sweet talk, cannot stop us. Plus I know the feds watch cause I tell the people that they church full of witch doctors. Put us in prison and stop violence. Meanwhile, UPK turn the rebels into rock wallers. And leave a mighty men. And now I understand things that never truly made sense. Like why I'm crying at this funeral for a criminal. Knowing you ain't innocent, it's fucked up. But my boo shot, standing between two priests, about to blaze on their heads for the tough love. Look out for niggas just blood. And wouldn't touch a white bitch with OJ's black gloves. Father, forgive me for my error. I'm forever by your side. Leaning personally upon my flaws. This the reason I'm alive. Thank God for this truth. Cause for a long time was a rebel without a call. Look, man. First time I'm making Planet GEN.YAHANNA, man. Hit 3807. Rebel without a call. My little daughter with me. Open the door. He was dropping the truth on me and all that. Rebel without a call. Man, you know. You do your time, we taking them all, training the hand-to-hand combat. Rebel without a call is the reason I'm alive. Thank God for this truth, cause for a long time it's a rebel without a call. You cannot move us. We're already dead. We're already beaten down. We've been beaten down for 400 years. We already got the wounds inside and outside our body. How you gonna hurt us? You cannot threaten us. You cannot frighten us. We live in the most frightening places, under the most frightening conditions. We are immune to fear. We are immune to harm. You see what I'm saying? You have stepped into a cesspool. You're the only one gonna get infected. First breath I took a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might with every sickness reveal. I'll go pay back the dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my focus and memory and empty till. I only live to do my master's will. It's I.S.U.P.K, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. God is straight but made greater. In my return, left to my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't rule, let's it get approved. Won't take a step till it get confirmed. Arm and take what was made for our sakes. March like a tank. One step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak and bring hell and the crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I'm gonna pay back for the scars in the slave memoirs. Till Christ around, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies. The only free will that's before your eyes. It's life or death, nigga, you decide. This heaven was made for me and my fellow. I'm patiently waiting with my eyes on the sparrow. And I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Before I ever let a white bitch do me like Othello. I want out this wicked life like Rebello. By any means, this devil pulling strings like Geppetto. Lay hold on this brotherhood. I swear I never let go. And fuck that silver spoon. Got too much love for the ghetto. Tell the score settle with DB. I die for the cause. Just to hear them angels applaud. And I'm true by every word I say. Cause I know my victory on the way. You want it? Nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? Cause it's real, I be walking with your makers. Boy, this life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? Cause it's real, I be walking with your makers. Boy, I can't be touched. Came through in the clutch. They hate but they can't doubt us. We preachers of the power, what you know about us? Evil all around us. But a nigga straight, I told you I can't be touched. Only angels walk at my pace. I'm grateful for the words that had me delivered. I'm hungry for the glory, but I ain't eating till I feed my next. One West, what I die for. Attire out the book of numbers, this rifle from the Archangel Michael. My niggas rebels, you can't deny them. It's 144. I be running to and fro with the Allah higher. My U.P.K soldiers ain't no folding or pretending. We aiming for them crowns, fuck friends, we want the million. In the election ascension, I hope I back it through. Give a damn what a bitch think, as long as my niggas know I'm true. Restrain your kind to get success. We break it through the eye of the needle, nigga. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be walking with your makers. Boy, this life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be walking with your makers. Boy, I can't be touched. Warrior with the hands, that's what I'm all about. Hunger in my eyes, vengeance in my mouth. They don't want no altercation. Situation gon' get critical. It's best that you be easy. They flow like a river. It's something like a miracle. Royalty in my veins, loyalty in my ways. Payback in every breath, plus revenge in my heart. The truth in every word. Bring light into the dark. Night never lukewarm. Shit, I blazing in the season. Got plenty of people, don't you just gotta.
Shalom. Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. Come on, 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. Since 1969, we've been teaching our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who we truly are as a nation according to the Lord, which is the 12 tribes of Israel in the Bible, or the Lord's chosen people. One thing that one thing that shows our people indefinitely who it is we truly are the curses in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. You understand? And of course, our oppressor, the same man that has, invaded our shores since 1492, the same one that sat there and tried to wipe us off of this continent and forced us into, the concentration camps, forced us onto the Trail of Tears, into the boarding schools, onto the reservations. You understand? Otherwise known as the white man is nothing more than the devil that the Bible speaks of. And today we're going to be getting into, who Esau is, characteristics of Esau, how the Lord feels about Esau, as well as the, overall judgment of not only, Esau, but as well as these heathen nations. Because it is beyond important for our people to, recognize who this beast is. Who it is that these people are that we fight so valiantly to cling to. We've been trying to cling to for, just an absurd amount of time. We're going to start out in the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and we're going to go to verse 25. No, we're gonna start at verse 22. I'm gonna give you a second to get there. Give you a second to go ahead and share the class. Tag all the Gadites you can, so-called native Indians. Share it to all the groups you can. You understand? Do your part to get this truth to spread to all the Gadites scattered abroad throughout these lands. If you got any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. Saying I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. If I can't answer them, I'll get with a mightier man above me in order to get the proper answer or breakdown. Give you one more minute to get there. All right, the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 22. It's like, so to give you a little, backstory of what's about to happen, or it's like, no, not what's about to happen, but about, leading up to this. So, Isaac and his wife, or Rebecca, are about to have, two sons. And this is about to give an account of, what it was that the sister was going through, as well as, what the children look like, and, their behavioral characteristics. So verse 22, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And so even in the womb, these two children, you're saying, well, we'll later find out these two nations, they were, even getting it in the womb. You're saying, fighting one another, sitting there, beefing. Saying, which that's not anything out the ordinary. You understand? Especially when it comes to, if you got two babies in a tight space, you understand? It's always a competition to, get what it is that they need to survive, whether they need to, reposition, or, try to do what they can to get more supplements from their mother, so on and so forth. Verse 23, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So the Lord let Rebecca know off the bat that, these are two separate nations of people that I have put inside of you. And they are to be separated. I'm saying they're supposed to be separate people once they come up out of you. Which that is something so, difficult for our people to understand, is that these oppressors walking around in America that have been oppressing us since Columbus days, since 1492, we got to understand that they are not the same as we are. They might be out here marching and protesting and rioting with our brothers, so-called blacks. But the devil's making 500 treaties, breaking every single one. We should know that they have some type of ulterior motive behind all this that they're doing. We should understand that when they went out there and, stood in the cold with us at Standing Rock and took a couple rubber bullets, it's like, we should understand that they didn't do that because they simply loved us. If these people truly had any type of, emotional connection, or they felt any type of sympathy towards the children of Israel, whether you are Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you would not wait until something is popping off to show, your support, to show your love. You understand? These people, they back in Standing Rock, these people should have been, of marched on the government buildings and, doing their little chants, saying how it is that, that has to stop. There has to be some type of change. But these people, they don't care enough to do that alone. You understand? They got to wait so they can get some type of vainglory out of joining themselves to us. They got to wait until, our faith in them is low, and then they swoop in order to build it back up upon, heights further than they were before. And the same thing goes for what's going on with these George Floyd protests. It's the same thing that has happened in the past. It's like, you understand, with, you can take the Trail of Tears, for instance, to where the U.S. government sat there and robbed so much more land, I should say, Slovakia, from our people. And you had, missionaries and, everyday citizens sitting there trying to, essentially protest, standing their ground, saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that to the indigenous people of this land." But it all has some type of ulterior motive to it. Understand? These people, they always have their own hidden agendas behind things, which it's something that the tribe of Gad, so-called Native Indians, anywhere, whether you are, in Central America, North America, whether you fled into South America, you understand, we should all know that these devils have always and will always have some type of motive behind their actions. And it's not to, give you all their goddamn love. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. You understand? I mean, that's a perfect example right there of the. Sorry, let me read that from the top for you. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. So you can look at, not only so-called Native Indians, but you can look at blacks and Hispanics, and you can see who it is that is, better out of all these other nations. You know, who it is that is the strongest, who it is that is the fastest, the most intelligent. You understand who it is that they are, most well known for their physical attributes. And that's in all things. You can look at, sports. You can look at warfare. You can look at, work that's being done. You understand, we've always been stronger than not only the people is about to talk about, but as well as all these other heathen nations. You understand, you ain't got no other nation out there that can sit there and run for days without a break. You see, they can run for miles upon miles upon miles upon miles without even needing a drink of water. You understand? You don't have very many people out there that can, take on, like a dozen, Spaniard soldiers with no armor on, which is what, we're doing. You understand? As well as, so-called Native Indians taking on the British with their muskets. We just running up in there with bows and tomahawks and daggers and just all types of blades. You understand? That should show you who it is that is the, superior out of the two. And the elder shall serve the younger. That's pretty self-explanatory. So we're about to find out who it is that the elder is and who it is that the younger one is. Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, and so when Rebecca, reached her due date, and she went into labor, behold, there were twins in her womb. Verse 25. And the first came out red. I'm going to read that for you again. Verse 25. And the first came out red. So the elder one came out looking red. And you understand? And, there's going to be a little bit of confusion here because, a lot of us were taught or, you know, were called, you know, Redskins. You understand? We were taught that our ancestors were called the Red Man. You understand? But we got to realize that that name itself came out of, you know, the death of our people. You understand? That name came from when, you know, you had, you know, the British and the French sitting there taking our scalps, and, you know, they'd flip it inside out, and, you know, where the part that'd be attached to your skull, and that's where they got the name, you know, Red Man from. You understand? That's why they started calling us that. You understand? But this right here, this ain't talking about, you know, the inside of your goddamn scalp. This is talking about your skin tone. And there's only one nation of people on this earth who have red skin. You understand? Natives are like a bronze color. You understand? We're like a real light bronze. Some of us are dark bronze. You understand? A good bit of us could be confused with our brothers, so-called Negroes. You understand? But when it's describing that he is red, that's due to, you know, not only the lack of his pigment, but you being able to see his blood show through his skin. Saying what, you can look at any one of these damn devils and you can, you know what I'm saying, you can see their blood showing through their skin. And you sit there and you get one of them mad and, you know, get all their blood rushing to their face. They're as red as a tomato. You know, saying they get sunburnt, they're red as a tomato. You understand? You slap one of them or you know, punch one of them in the face, they're gonna get red. You understand? But that's not gonna happen to no Native Indian. That's not gonna happen to any nigga, to any, you know, Hispanic. It's not gonna happen to any Arab, Asian, African, East Indian. You understand? That only fits one group of people. So then one of the best ways to do a proper comparison is, you know, you can get a white piece of paper and you can get a red piece of paper. You understand? And you have one of these devils put their hand on it, you hold it up, or you hold it up next to their face, and you'll see what it is that they are, you know, more like. You'll see what it is that they're closer to. And it's not going to be no white piece of paper. So the only way that'll happen is if they have poor circulation. All over, like in hairy garment. And then, you know, obviously, if you look up any pictures online, you see any of these devils at the beach, just walking around your cities without, you know, shirts on or you know, sleeveless shirts or whatever. You know, these people there are covered in hair like some kind of beast. You understand? Like some kind of animal that you would just stumble across in the field. So, and for the most part, that's how, you know, all other people are. No matter how much they sit there and shave their faces, keep their hair short, you understand, they try to hide it. You know, you can't hide who it is that you are. So you can't sit there and pretend to be somebody else. So you can try to pretend to be someone else, but at the end of the day, the Lord is going to reveal, you know, to those of us that don't, you know, realize who these people are, the Lord is going to reveal the truth to us. And then we're not going to even be able to sit there and question it, dispute it. And any type of nonsense we want to throw out there, it's all going to be just done. It's not going to hold any weight or nothing. and they called his name Esau. And so this child that was documented as being red and hairy all over, and they called his name Esau. And it's important to take note of, how it is that they documented what this child looked like. Because, I mean, you've got all throughout, this book right here, you've got documentation of men having children, for generations, but it doesn't, document how it is that they look at birth. So with this happening, with them documenting that this man, he is red, you're saying he's hairy. I mean, that just goes to show you that all these people that are red on the face of this earth, I'm saying over in Europe, you're saying over in like Australia, South Africa, and in the United States, Canada. Shoot, you can even go into goddamn South America with the Spaniards. Saying all these people came from one man. You're saying they all came from the seed of Esau. Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So this tells us that Esau is the oldest son. Jacob is the youngest son. You notice it didn't give an account of what it was that Jacob looked like, because he looked like everybody else in the land at that time. You're saying back then we were all, dark. We're all a dark people. And that even includes when, we first came over here to America and we were dwelling here. You understand? We were, originally a dark people until we started sitting there and mingling with our enemy. You understand? With Esau, with the devil, with our oppressor. And by doing so, we started getting lighter and lighter and lighter. That's it. I'm going to read that last part for you again. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So Isaac was 60 when him and Rebekah had their 2 sons. I just go to show you, you're never too old to have children. You understand? To continue to grow the bloodline and the numbers of the nation of Israel. Verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. So that is a, detrimental characteristic of Esau, to show us who it is that, not only this man was, but as well as what his future generations would be like. For example, when, Columbus first invaded these lands, and the British and the French, the Russians, the Germans, all of these different European, powers first invaded these shores, they always, claiming to want to bring peace to these lands, claiming that they came to, build relations amongst their people and to help us prosper and thrive as a nation. And then once they got us to a vulnerable point, then these people would take action and murder everyone in sight. You understand? It didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter, if they sat there and surrendered, if they were a soldier. elderly, a child, a woman, a pregnant woman. You understand? These people made all types of sports and games out of murdering us. You understand? And they got a sense of, excitement and joy out of it, which to this day, they still get that same type of joy, the same type of excitement that they got hundreds of years ago. Saying not only will they sit there and, claim to come in peace to ensure that our people get stronger and thrive, but it was a common tactic amongst these people to sit there and, simply, survey like a city or a town for an extended period of time to find the best ways to infiltrate, find the best ways to make us weak so that their numbers don't get weakened from, like conflicts. So which their top tactic was to, kidnap a child of a top and essentially ransom them off so they can sit there and push in and murder any and everybody in sight. And I don't even need to mention, these damn devils sitting there giving us these blankets, smallpox and measles. You understand? We already know how it is that they used all these different, plagues, this damn biological warfare to, just absolutely decimate our numbers. Saying that was all, calculated. It was all planned. And so they didn't just sit there and say, well, let's give these people these blankets. We'll see what it does. You understand? They saw how it was that their presence alone, like not even just all types of disgusting, things that have happened to them. And you can see to where essentially it just oozes out of their skin, infecting people in nearby areas. So those people sat there and said, you know what? Let's just give them these blankets filled with smallpox and measles. It'll do the job. They saying we ain't even got to take any casualties to go to war with these people. And they were exactly right. You're saying, and that same cunningness in them, the same, just euphoria they get out of murdering us, like that still carries on till today. And you can look at, all these pipeline protests that we've done, and that really is still going on, especially up in Canada. And you can, see all the advancements in technology they've made to cause us all types of harm and suffering, and saying all these different advancements so that they can capture us in easier ways. So whether, for instance, we'll use, Standing Rock, for example, because that's one of our most prominent, protests that has happened. So you can look at, so we were going strong at first. Bullets, attacked by dogs, pepper sprayed, you're saying tear gas, waiting in, waist high freezing water. You're saying beaten, the whole shebang. We're having all that done to us. Saying we weren't cracking, we had unity with one another, and then all of a sudden, we allow for devils to sit there and join our movement, and to sit there and camp out with us as a nation. And, if you pay attention to things, you'll see that after we allowed for our enemy to enter our ranks and to, ultimately get behind our lines, everything started falling apart. You understand? The police were starting to have raids where they could find our food supplies and they'd burn it or confiscate it. understand? They were sitting there burning, sleeping bags and tents and teepees, all these different things in order for us to, keep going, keep the fight going. Understand? Well, but for some reason, us as a nation, we never think that, just because one of these devils is joining with us, that they, decide to take some, minor form of punishment with us. We never think that they could just simply betray us. We never think that, they must be a spy. They got some type of, ulterior motive, some type of plan put into place to, allow this devil to come in with us. And we never truly, think that far. We don't think on the aspect of warfare. But our oppressor is constantly thinking about it. Our peace, if we're at war, if we're fighting for equality, if we're trying to stop some type of, unjust thing from happening to our people. Esau is always thinking of warfare. That is why he is a cunning hunter. A man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. So Jacob, he liked to chill. So he liked to kick back. So that's just like any Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. Especially, back then. You understand? Our oppressor has documented how it is that the men just sat there, chilled, made babies, protected the homes, and the women did, a lot of labor. And so even today, even with us being so oppressed in these lands and being in such a low, condition, we still like to just, kick back with our brothers. You understand? We still just like to chill. He said that's just the type of spirit that we have as a people. You see, Esau has that spirit where I gotta hunt, I gotta kill. And Jacob, we just lay it back. Gonna go to second Esdras. Okay. Chapter 6, verse 9. I'll give you a second to get there. This is in the Apocrypha as well, in case you were wondering. Book of second Esdras. chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world. So, when you look at the word, world in the Bible, you got to understand it's not talking about, what we call the world. You understand? We don't live on planet world. You understand? We live on the earth. So when you see the word world and you look into the etymology of words, you'll see that this means, age or society. Basically it's, anytime Esau goes to, any country, any part of the earth, he always brings some type of, of destruction or death, to these different, societies. For instance, sure, you can look at how we were, pre-Columbus times. Not only us, but our Hispanic brothers, and how it is that we had, our own culture, our own customs, our own society that was, thriving, our own cities, our own empires laid out and set up, our own governing bodies. You know what I'm saying? And, as well as our infrastructure on our families. You know what I'm saying? We had, everything. We had everything put together. And as soon as the devil popped up on the scene, and used his smooth and sly words, and as soon as he put that sword to work and started blasting the muskets and the cannons and spreading biological weapons all over the place, and then that caused for our society, our empires to crumble. So we no longer had any of these things that made us who we were as a nation. And when this damn beast sat there and destroyed, our culture, when he destroyed who it was that we were, he always likes to, sprinkle in his own, his own spirit into things. You understand? So we go from what we had, and now after the devil sat there and sprinkled in what he could of his own spirit, now you got, for instance, you got our people, hating one another. You got us trying to make slaves out of one another. You got women being whores. You got pedophilia. You got us just trying to outright murder one another over, it could be nothing. It could be over greed. It could be over a woman. When we didn't have really these type of problems before, Esau stepped on the scene. But that's just something that these people do anytime they enter any type of, society or, nation. They always have to sit there and destabilize and, ultimately topple, not only the government, but the culture of the people, and kind of implement their own thing, follow more in their ways and to be more on their side and things. You understand? And that's just, that's always been the spirit of these people. And it's going to be the spirit of these people. You understand? It's not only, him destroying, the other, cultures or customs, or, the people in general of a different nation, or altering, their beliefs, and, however it is that he can. But the same thing even goes for his own people. Is that you can get, Germans, for instance, during World War II, sitting there going to war with, shoot, damn near everybody. You understand the Russians, the French, you understand the British, the U.S., Canada, as well as all these different other heathen nations. And by doing so, they were trying to incorporate their own, ideals into into the cultures, into these people's customs. So, which is why, whenever Germany would move into a state, they'd always put up their own, propaganda of Jewish people. They'd always round up Jewish people. And they would do anything that they could to get these nations to follow in their ways, all while destroying how it was that these people were in the past. Understand? But out of every nation upon the face of this earth, no matter who it is, these people have not destroyed any culture, any customs more than they have Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. You understand? So-called Blacks were completely stripped of who they were. You understand? Made to think that they were, first were just Negroes. You understand? Black, African American. You understand? All these different things that are, just far beyond who it is that they truly were. And then when they sit there and ask, oh, who am I? Where my people come from? You understand? Who were my ancestors? I mean, we can't answer. You understand? We believe that they were American. You understand? Our people believe that they are, goddamn Mexican or African American or, Native Indian. We're far beyond that as a people. So like, and Jacob is the beginning. Slakia. I'll read that from the top. Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world. So I want to touch a little bit more on not only how he destroys, not only our people, but these other heathen nations, implementing in his own, thing. But I also want to touch on, how it is he goes against his own, people. Understand? So they had, 2 world wars, based off of, them trying to implement their own, or I should say force their own, will or, their own beliefs onto, their own brothers. You understand? And the same thing is going to be happening, soon with this World War III. So you got Trump out here sitting here trying to, just absolutely bully, all these different nations, trying to bully, Russians and, the Chinese and, Koreans, all these people. And, he just got such pride in himself, as well as these, other devils that have such pride in him and themselves that, they don't see World War III coming. They do not think that nuclear destruction can come to America. But when it does, just know that was the judgment of the Lord. Stand for all of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that he has destroyed. You saying that he has gone out of his way to mislead It's saying if the Lord can send a simple virus, saying something that is, invisible to the naked eye, to absolutely bring America to its knees, saying don't think he won't send no bombs, that he won't bring war to America. He's saying he's brought war to America multiple times. You're saying you can look at the Vietnam War, the World Wars, Korean War, Cold War. You're saying all these different conflicts that has caused America to suffer. You're saying that is judgment of the Lord for his crimes against the nation of Israel. I'm gonna drop that. Yeah, we're gonna drop that. I'm gonna go to Romans, verse 13. Give you a second to get there. Right spot. Book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written, it is written in the Old Testament, which is what a lot of Christians like to say about the Bible, is the Old Testament is done away with. Well, apparently that's not the case, since this scripture is referring back to the Old Testament. Jacob have I loved. You understand? Jacob is the forefather of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? So the Lord loved, the man whose loins we all came out of. You understand? The progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? Therefore, that same love is going to be passed down through the generations. And so just like the Lord loved Jacob, the Lord is going to love the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's anything that comes naturally. You're saying if you love, let's say, family, for example. You understand? You sit there and you say you love your, your uncle or your aunt. I'm saying grandparents. I'm not gonna say grandparents, but your uncle and your aunt. You understand that same love that you have for them, that's gonna be passed down to the children that they have. You understand? And if you don't like, your uncle or your aunt, I'm saying you're gonna have that same type of disdain that you had for them for the child that they bring into the earth. I'm saying that's just something that naturally comes to us as people. Saying so it's, I mean, of course it's gonna be natural that the same thing comes to the Lord. You understand? Because we're supposed to be made in His image. We like to say, you understand? We're supposed to have the same type of like characteristics and the same type of emotions as He has. You understand? So just like we love and we hate, the Lord, He loves and He hates. And so we learned who it was that He loved, which is Jacob. I'm saying the father of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, or the 12 tribes of Israel. Now let's see who it is that He hates as a nation. But Esau have I hated. So the Lord said He hates Esau. So the same red man that was in the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. Understand? The Lord said He hates him. So it's not due to the same reasons why it is that the white man or Esau hates us as a nation, which is, due to our skin tone. I'm saying our complexion. It's that the Lord hates Esau due to his disgusting crimes that he has committed against the children of Israel. Saying to the Lord's chosen people. And that's why the Lord hates Esau. You understand? Because these people have done nothing but wrong to the Lord's chosen nation. And it doesn't matter what time period it is, these people always go out of their way to ensure they can cause some type of pain or suffering to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So, us as a people, I sit there and forgive, this nation and say, oh, well, it wasn't them. They didn't do this to us. We say that was their ancestors. That was hundreds of years ago. Then we should forgive and we should love. You understand? But the Lord, He will never forgive and He will never love these people due to their crimes. You understand? All of the women who had their goddamn babies cut out of their stomachs and then smashed in against the rocks. You understand? For all of our people that have been torn apart by dogs and set on fire, you understand? Been decapitated and sliced in half. You understand? All these different horrific acts us by this nation. The Lord, He takes account of every single thing, every crime, every atrocity that has ever been committed against us. You understand? The Lord, He wants vengeance. You understand? He wants to deliver a harsh and just judgment onto these people. And it doesn't matter how much we sit there and hug them and say, I forgive you. Oh no, we're all one people. It don't matter what your personal, emotional opinion is. So what matters is what the Lord says. And the Lord said He hates Esau, He loves Jacob. Therefore, us as a people naturally, at least us in the UPK, therefore we love Jacob. We love the 12 tribes of Israel. You're saying we love our own people. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be the only people that we give our love to. You know what I'm saying? But just like how the Lord hates Esau, and guess what? You know what I'm saying? We don't give a damn about Esau, about that pink bastard, about that devil. understand? It's not due to his skin complexion. It's due to the crimes that he has committed against the 12 tribes of Israel and commits till this day due to the amount that he has for our people. You're saying the amount of hatred that he's going to continue to have for the nation of Israel until the Lord returns. You're saying until Christ returns. So that's the only way there's going to be any type of, I guess you could say, unity amongst all people. And when I say that, I don't mean equality or joining hand in hand with these people. I mean, we when I say we, I mean Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, the Lord's chosen people. We work to serve the Lord. We keep the laws, and these people work to serve us. You're saying to keep us happy. You're saying so we can continue to serve the Lord. You're saying that's what I mean when I say some type of unity. You understand? Because shoot. There's got to be some type of justice for the crimes committed against us. We're going to go to the book of Obadiah. And we're going to start at verse 1. I'll give you a second to get there. Okay, let's get it. In this book right here is going to be talking about, the judgment of America, as well as the judgment of, the rest of these, devil nations or European nations, whatever the hell you want to call them. It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 1. Book is like the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Saying so, it's always been tactic of not only, America, but as well as, like Russia, France, Britain, Spain, Germany, Italy, like all these different, devil nations. It's always been their tactic to, send out ambassadors or, spokespersons, if you will, to try to, mend the ties between them and another nation. To try to prevent something that could be, so disruptive and dire to their own nation from popping off. Especially when it gets close to times of war. Understand? So just like, just like they were doing in the past, for instance, like, like, slack, I'm trying to figure out how to put it, okay, so you can look at the UN, for instance. You understand that is, nothing more than ambassadors, sent from each European power, as well as, other heathen nations. Prominent figures are European powers because, they got the most wealth, they have the most military might, the most influence. You understand? And they use that as their platform to, make negotiations with other countries and other nations to try to prevent things from escalating and popping off. And with Russia pulling out of the UN, I believe China did, these different nations not wanting to hear anything about peace talks, anything about having some type of unity, if you will. So that is a thing to happen in the earth. You understand? Because usually nations really don't want to go to war because it's going to result in death of their own, as well as the risk of them having some type of collapse. We're going to get more on it though. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Sits there and sends out to all these different nations, talking about having peace and prosperity and unity, and trying to make deals in order to strengthen ties. And these other nations are going to see the state that America is in, and shoot, they've simply had enough, and they're going to rise up against her. And they're going to decide to go to war. Because no matter how great and opportunity we think America is, the United States, this country, the government, however it is you want to put it, is that these people have been doing nothing but stick their noses in another nation's business and sit there and try to bully other nations. And that's not to mention all the crimes that America has committed against these other nations. And these other nations, they're going to want payback for what has been done to them. They're going to want the wrong that was done to be righted. Which that is something that is natural. It's natural for another nation to want justice for their people from the crimes that were committed by another nation. You understand? But when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we simply just sit there and forgive and want to forget. You see, we say that was in the past. Let's focus on the now, and then we join hand in hand with these people thinking it's going to make things better. You understand? But when has the U.S. ever sat there and said, oh, well, that was in the past. We should forgive these people. We should move forward. You understand? As as humanity, we should move forward. And they have never done that. You understand? They went to war with damn near the entire Middle East, with all them goddamn Arabs, all because 2 buildings were taken down, and I believe it was like 4,000 people or something like that were killed, as compared to the absolutely astronomical number of Arabs that have been bombed and shot. You know, saying the Arabs sat there and blew themselves up trying to protect their own lands. You understand? But America never sits there and says that was in the past. Let's go ahead and forget and it's like it forgive and forget. But they're so quick to tell blacks, Hispanics, and natives to do so. To simply forgive and forget. It's a new day. It's a new. You understand? Because they themselves, they know that is a bunch of bull. Verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So, I mean, you can do any type of, research to see that, Europeans or Americans, are, blue, least out of all these other nations. Yes, and they are nothing compared to, the amount of like Africans, Arabs, East Indians, Asians. And that's not even, combined when you look at, Asia or Africa, all these different, continents. You understand? Like our oppressor is like the absolute, minimum. There's really hardly any of them on the earth. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, when it comes to all these other nations, even though our oppressor, with him, having such a prominent stronghold on America, and having so many of his people here, as well as Canada, Slovakia, you understand? We like to believe that, there's just so many of these people because that's all we see all day. You understand? All day, every day, when, these people are really outnumbered as a nation. You understand? That's why they never, truly go out and wage war with, like let's say Europe, the United States and Canada, try to come together and wage war against Africa or Asia. You saying, or I want to say like a legit war against the Middle East. Because fighting people that throw rocks and bullets, legitimate war. You understand? But there's a reason that they never go out and actually wage war with these people. You understand? Thou art greatly despised. You understand? And there's a reason that these people are, so despised among all these other nations. It is such a simple, reason. You know what I'm saying? Such a simple answer that, a goddamn child should be able to understand it. But yeah, when it comes to our people, we are the top ones that sit there and say, yeah, the hell with that. And that answer is, simply due to how it is that America has oppressed all of these other, nations. Saying has caused nothing but death and destruction in their lands. You understand? And you can look at Slacking. And you can look at, the world wars, saying 1 and 2. You can look at the Vietnam War, the Korean War. You're saying the damn Iraq War. You're saying the wars in the Middle East. You're saying all these different, conflicts that America has caused throughout the earth, causing death and destruction in these other nations. You understand? I mean, that's gonna want someone that has some type of sense of justice, and not only justice but morality, to want to to take action, in a sense, to want to do something to ensure that what happened to their people is was not in vain. You understand that it happened for nothing. Not only that, but to ensure that their people get some form of justice, no matter what it is. So that's a natural thing, is to want justice for your people. So not only to want justice, but for your people to have better lives than they do. Let me get a time check. Let me see. We're gonna skip down to verse 4. No, I'll give you a good second to get there. Book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. It's saying, so there's only one nation of people that can truly say that they've I guess you could say set their nests in the stars. For instance, you can look at the space stations. And you can look at the first people into space who have constantly been going, in and out. I'm saying back and forth, doing what it is that they can to, solidify their position up there. And that is, without a doubt, Esau, especially, now, with Trump trying to build his space force, saying his military in space. All with the goal to try to fight the Lord and to prevent him from causing the American empire to fall. He's saying it doesn't matter what kind of weaponry these people develop. He's saying it doesn't matter how many people they recruit, how many scientists they got, how many hardcore soldiers they have. None of it. You understand? Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So Trump's out here promoting a space force. He's saying you can see the propaganda. Just all this, just completely, idiotic, belief that they can, fight the Lord and, ultimately defeat him. That is, the idea that these people are putting out there with not only these commercials and, posters and ads, but it's something that we actually believe as a nation. Because a lot of us, we don't believe that so-called UFOs are actually the Lord's chariots. He's saying we just think that they're some kind of alien. He's saying a gray alien, and that's all I know alien wise. But we don't see it being something that is of the Lord, and we have such faith in America. He's saying, and in our oppressor and his ability to cause war any and everywhere, that we believe that they can be any threat out there in the solar system and in the galaxy. You understand? But they're not going to be able to sit there and simply defeat the Lord. They're not going to be able to bring him down. All this advanced weaponry that they're going to be shooting out into space, all these soldiers and scientists that they're going to be sending out there to fight some type of unknown threat. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's going to cause all that to come crashing down. And for all that to burn up, as it's being pushed back down into the earth. You understand? I mean, that's just the mentality of our oppressor to believe, I'm the ultimate, war machine. I can, go to battle with and beat anybody, including the Lord. So we're gonna get into these closing announcements. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K, South 1 West, 125th Street. With a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. It means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to treasury department or teacher. It's a free will offering, priest fund. It's a free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory, and it's whatsoever amount you would like. If anyone school to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or a war scarf. With that said, I imagine, which means to stand. Wapanya Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to start out with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawu, Shabashamayim, Kwadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahawah, Walakwaka, Taba'a, Rata Zaika, Haya, Asha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lunawa, look, come, call, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawathanawa, Kasalakanawa, Kabawathaganawa, Wala'a, Tabayayanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahataparith, the Iwalamyam. Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. The prayer for the Hakak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Baba Kasha, Nathanawa, Hakak, La Rapa'ah, Kal Makala, Wakal Matawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahakim, Hamathium, Hakak, Al Rakawath, Hatama'alu, Lagarshan, Bashem Yahushai, the water Aman. Prayer for the power in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. Prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahushai, Wam Yaka'ala, Walahayim, Matazab Yah, Alawap Yahan, Ha'alawapium, Hazaranyum, Hakwatazayanyum, Akayayayum, Wahakwathian, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, the water Aman. Pray for the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahanna, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction and death to the heathen, and shake loose the pockets of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, the radio channels, convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and destroy. Cause the plagues to come against America, them in their strongholds. Let them at the hands of the plagues. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and destroy all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. All be it. Sar, which means return. First salute to the brothers of Israel. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatam. That's my top. I give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shemar al done by Shem Yahushua. Is my top. Class dismissed.